let's talk about Folarin Balogun, everybody. So let's give some context about him if you're unaware, but there is a very talented number 9 out there who was born in the U.S. to Nigerian parents, but grew up in England, so he can play through 3 different countries, but he's only represented England at the youth national team level. And England didn't call him up for these things, even though he's absolutely crushing it in Liga in France for Reims and doing extremely, extremely well. He's on loan to Reims from Arsenal. They're still trying to decide how they're going to bring him back into the fold after they've given up some, signed some Eddie Nketiah and other Arsenal players to some big contracts, how he's going to fit in there and how he's going to fit into England. Gareth Southgate didn't call him in. And then Marcus Rashford and Mason Mount, 2 attacking players, both elected to leave off or didn't play for England in this window because of injury. He still didn't get called in as a replacement. And so he put on a cryptic message on his Instagram that he wants to go somewhere where he's wanted. I'm paraphrasing. Then he gets out of the England under 21 camp and then shows up in Orlando. How fortuitous is that for everybody? Anthony Hudson said, the interim coach for the U.S. said, I've said before, we've had dialogue, we've spoken. So U.S. Soccer and Balogun's, him and his people have talked. He's out here having a bit of a break and then some training, and we've had some discussions. I think it's been good because it's been an opportunity for us to just share about our program and who we are and what we want to do, and that's it. I hope we get the chance to speak to him again. It's been good, and I know a few of the guys have spoken to him as well. So that's where we're at with Balogun, but that would be a big piece to our puzzle, like you mentioned before the break, Chuck, about having him in the team and what a difference he could make for us. Even if with him, it just would force the other guys, too, that are playing number 9 to have to pick up their games to another level as well.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I've just talked for 5 minutes straight. Go ahead.
No. Folarin Balogun showed up in Orlando. It's not a coincidence that he ditched the England U21 call-up to show up in England. And the funny thing is, you say he
could have gone anywhere. He went to Orlando.
Right. But the funny thing to me is he's injured, right? Yet he shows he's out training in Florida and he's talking about the heat. So what injury are we talking about here? Here we go, this heat. Now he's good. This was an opportunity to come out to meet the U.S. men's national team staff, the players, have that conversation. There's no coincidence that he's at Orlando Magic games rocking the number 9 jersey. He's at baseball games rocking the number 9 jersey. This, to me, looks like a little recruitment trip for the U.S. men's national team saying, hey, England, they don't appreciate you like we do. And I appreciate all you guys in the YouTube comment sections, all the American outlaws throwing up the American flag, all up in his comments saying, hey, we're all about it. Like, come join the squad. Because this is a difference maker we're talking here. We're talking the difference between playing in the group stage and just getting out of the group stage and getting knocked out to, yeah, we're in the semifinals. We have a capable striker, someone who has technique, who can beat you on the dribble, who makes great runs, who knows how to play with other players around you to build them up and continue with link-up play into the final third. This is a massive game changer because not a lot of countries have strikers. Look at Italy. I mean, they had to go to Boca Juniors to find a naturalized striker, Retegui, who had no experience, who wasn't even playing at Boca. He was on loan. And that's who Italy had to go with, a powerhouse country like Italy. So if we can go and get a capable, quality, young striker who's hungry and motivated to play for us, the U.S., just like Yunus Musa came and I think that opened up everyone's perspective, being like, damn, we can get these players? This would take us to another level. Now, if you were watching closely tonight, Ricardo Pepi played like, you guys don't need this guy. Let me be that guy. You could see that motivation, that hunger because I'd be pissed off if I was a number 9 on the national team. If I'm a striker and everyone's all hyped and fans are crazy and teammates have to talk to him and say, hey, it'd be an honor to have you. We'd be grateful to have you. I'd be pissed off. So I like the response from Ricardo Pepi, but I also know that if we did get a Balogun and he's healthy, this is a massive coup for the U.S. men's national team.
Do you feel like, and Heath, I'll come to you on this because I do think it will help, but when you start to recruit, like you get a Yunus Musa, a dual national that comes in, you get a Serginho Dest, and then you get a Balogun. I think you start to turn the heads, and you there's something about this team, right? There's the vibes in some ways that more people want to be a part of it, like a fear of missing out in some ways, that they got to get on, especially leading up to this World Cup, which will be unlike any other in U.S. soccer history.
Yeah, I think it's hard, right? Because on one hand, we do need to earn the right to have a quality player. On the other hand, we're talking about 17 goals in Liga, and previous to that, like, no history, right? And this is a guy who is now getting to that point where you're like, he is going to be a star. It's undeniable at the level that he is right now. But he's got 1 year of it, right? He's an Arsenal talent. He's come through, but he is finding his feet as the player that Arsenal looked at and said, this guy could be a star someday. And it's hard to be 20 years old and be an Arsenal star, right? You get a Bukayo Saka once a generation. He's had to go and find his way and prove everybody at Arsenal wrong as they continue to not bring him back from loan and score a bunch of goals. This guy is an absolute baller, and he's going to make this team better. I just wonder, like, from a recruitment standpoint, I love it all, by the way. What do you need to tell him, Charlie? I mean, you come in a situation like that. What do you need to tell him? Because a lot of it's about being let down by his bigger dream, right? So he's already sort of somewhat thinking about it, but
taking a step away from that.
I know we all talked about not having a sporting director, not having a general manager and sporting director have you give you this pitch of the future and how you fit into it, right? The game plan. But ultimately, it's about how do I feel when I'm around these guys? So you naturally say, come hang out, come see what we're about, get the vibe check.
Yeah, and come buy bottles with Weston.
There you go. Hey,
I mean, that's what we did with Eunice, right? Eunice was the same.
Let's give you these jerseys courtside. Come hang out. Get the feel for what we're about, and that's all it takes. Along with a coach to say, if you come, you're gonna be that game changer for us. You're gonna fit in perfectly to us. You don't have to wait for years for Harry Kane to move on. And who knows, however, whatever other strikers England has in mind ahead of Flo. Or you look at Nigeria and still Victor Osimhen is there. So you're still not the guy. You come to the US, he is the guy. He is better than every other striker we have. And it's not even close. It's not even close.
So I do want to throw this out there because on the last show, Heath, and I don't know if Charlie, if you were on or not, but Heath made a good point about we don't do a very good job, or at least under Greg, of getting the number 9 the ball a lot or in meaningful spaces a lot. And I wonder how that impacts what we do. Now, you add him to the piece, and I think you figure out a way. And I think, when you're a talented player surrounded by other super talented players, you're just going to find the ball and you're going to make a difference because that's just how good you are. But I thought that was an interesting thing, and I've been thinking about it, Heath. That was how impactful it was. I've been thinking about it days later. That you're right. When we are kind of wing back centric. We're trying to create a lot of that. Maybe not. I mean, sometimes if we have some space centrally, Musa or McKinney can do their stuff, but we're not so centrally located. We like to start wide and come inside. So I thought that was interesting.
One player can change all of that.
Sure. Right.
One player can change all that. His movements, his runs, when he's on the ball, that gives everyone else confidence. When you can show that your strengths and how they can be applied to this group and take them to the next level, guess what? The player who's taking that one extra touch, that's not happening anymore. His head's up and he's looking for flow. Is he in the channel? Is he checking? I'm going to get it to the 9. There's a big difference because the perspective changes. So that's why I know we haven't had a 9 like this in a long time.
So that's why just the simplicity, from a simplicity sake, one of the reasons that it's not about Pepe's goal scoring that I like most about him. It's about the fact that if you play him the ball, there's a good chance he's going to lay it off to whoever's facing the game more often than not. He is not going to take 4 touches to get it down. He's not going to do a bunch of these things. He's clean. And I like that about when there are strikers that I personally like, when I watch Champions League, when I watch big matches, international matches, it's that simplicity that you are an option at all times to relieve pressure, to lay the ball off, to build up in the attack, but it's not about you a lot of the times. And when you have a player like Flo who's going to be on the field, you can play his feet. You know you're going to get it back. He's got the quality to spin out if he has the opportunity. He's just got those different options that make you trust. If I make that little diagonal run, if I play that ball into his feet, is it a turnover? Does he have positioning? Like all those things that have that confidence that when we had Charlie at his best, you knew you always had an option in the place. You put it into the corner, he's going to beat the guy to the corner. You put it to his feet, he's going to scrap for that type of ball. And I think just having that level of confidence, we haven't had that consistently where we just almost deny that ability to find a striker directly at times.
I think too, speaking about our number 9s kind of leading up to the World Cup and at the World Cup itself, when you have someone like Balogun, he seems clinical. You give him that one chance, he's going to score it. And that is what I think sets another reason that sets him apart from our current crop of guys. Whereas we have guys that get in good spots, but will they take that opportunity when it comes? And you know, as you play in bigger games and in bigger competitions, those chances become a lot fewer and far between. So it's yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the possibility. And now that he's getting all this and we're wooing him and the New York Yankees are giving him jerseys as well, the guy would be the biggest villain of all time if he told us no at this point. So I'm very curious to see how this all plays out.